Welcome to Rooster Radio, a broadcast dedicated to supporting and promoting local artists in the Gaston County and surrounding areas.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to a man today who's no stranger to the podcast. Got AJ here from Carolina Headbangers. Say what's up.
Hey, how's it going?
And we've got a 6th annual Carolina Headbangers Ball. This will be our 3rd year hosting it. By the way, I do want to say thank you for allowing us to host it again.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of places you can take this, but having it here 3 years in a row, I'm proud of that, and I'm very grateful that you keep letting us host the ball.
The fact that it made it to the 6th year, you know, I didn't think it was going to make it past the 2nd year, you know, but to get to the 6th year has been amazing. And
hey, look, the backyard shows were fun, man. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed coming out to them, you know, had the grill going and all that. But, you know, you're growing the brand, you're growing the show and stuff, and you're growing what you do. So it only makes sense, you know. The hope is that you get too big for us, and you have to go to another place that's bigger. At least that's my hope for you.
Well, you know, you want it to get bigger, but I think it's, you know, it's one of those things that's always been, it's always, you know, out of all the shows I do or have done, it's always been the most successful one. I know that for sure. But it's always been a great thing around the Halloween.
Yeah.
You know, get dressed up. Once you kind of get past that trick-or-treating age, you know, there's years where it's like, you know, you maybe go to a bar or a concert or something yourself, but then to have something that's like an actual Halloween party and then also involve music. You know, last year's was on my birthday, so was on the 28th last year, but it's kind of, you know, it's been something that I've gotten used to now, you know, to like having that, and it's a good time for me to see certain people that just maybe I just see in October. You know, they might not make it out to some of the other shows during the year, but they're here in October. You know, and just the great times we've had and stuff like that, and you know, the getting to introduce new bands to people, and you know, it's been great. It's been great doing it here. You know, the backyard ones were always, you know, we didn't know if the cops are going to show up. The cops would show up. Didn't really know what was going to happen. You know, it still had all the permits and everything there, but you know, I'm glad that it's still going, and you know, we're still here 6 years later talking about it. You know, it's someone else's idea, and you know, it worked. You know, thank you, Tyler Wright, but of Haymaker. He's a big part of it, and when we started out, you know, and then we had Ryan Becker's house was where we at, and we started out with a wooden platform, and that's it. We didn't have lights. There might have been one light, lighting harness thing, you know, up in there, but that's where it started. It just started with a bunch of, I'm gonna say kids, but you know, a bunch of late 20s, you know,
Bunch
kids.
of guys.
Yeah,
Bunch
just
of guys
just
trying
hanging
to have
out.
a good
Yeah.
time, yeah.
I think the first one they did out there started out as a birthday for this guy named Quinn, and then it kind of turned into, well, let's do one. We'll do the Carolina Headbangers one, or I guess we settled with the Carolina Headbangers Ball. But that's it, you know. And then every year that progressively got bigger, and then when that didn't, we came here,
Yeah.
and it's still managed to stay pretty big, you know.
I love the costume aspect of it. Having the costume contest, people get so creative with their costumes, and you know, it's fun to see what people come up with. You know,
The Callahans, you know,
Yeah.
the reigning champions of the last couple years, you know.
Yeah, that's my challenge to the community. Beat Scott Callahan. That dude comes up with the most creative, most fun costumes. Somebody's got to beat him this year.
I saw he was dressed as Deadpool last night.
Yeah, and Sharon was Wolverine. So, yeah, for the onesie party.
I don't even know how they topped that one. That would have been a great one. They would have probably won the contest. But you know, yeah, it's, you know, and you get the, Yeah, it's cool having this crowd of people, and Gastonia has always been I've never had a bad time in Gastonia. I know that. Like, I always have a good time here.
We've spoke ad nauseum about how different downtown Gastonia is than it was years before. We don't need to do that. I remember one year I went to a show for Halloween, and I found a tree costume, so I was dressed as a tree, and then I had a sign around my neck that said "Good morning." All right, so everyone here gets it. Good.
Okay.
Yeah, and like it was funny because I'd be walking around the venue I was at, and half the people would look at me just completely just didn't get it, and then the other half people would look at me and be like, "Oh, that's funny as shit. You're Morning Wood." Like it was just funny seeing the confused faces on the looks of some people.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good one. I wish you wouldn't have told that, because I would have tried to win the contest this year myself. You know? I've never snow. You know, I guess because being like I haven't got to dress up yet. I want to dress up this year. You know,
Do it. I'm gonna dress up this year. I'm gonna figure something fun.
I guess last year was Danzig. You know, because we did that and we debuted that whole thing with the mishaps and the Danzig Misfit tribute. But so that, you know, I don't want to say it looked like Danzig. It looked like something. It looked like a guy with a random $7 Walmart wig. But
it looked like a guy trying to look like Dan.
yeah, it was. You'll see that again this year too. But I don't know if I got the wig still. It got kind of dirty, you know. It's good for 2 times and that's it. But it's kind of nappy looking now. But yeah, you know, it's always been fun, and you know, we've you never really know what's gonna happen, but it's cool to see, like, you know, even when we were in the backyard, we had vendors, and we started out we had 3 or 4 people set up their tents, and you know, so we were always about trying to help the locals, you know, and it's, you know, and the Rooster being it's a local venue, and it's
well, you've been able to partner with the Misfit Market to kind of expand the selection of things, you know.
Yeah, that's made it such a difference, you know, because I think before we had 2 or 3 pretty good ones, but it was, you know, it's just our friends, and they, you know, maybe I'm blanking on the name of the guys now that come out with the jewelry and stuff like that were there, but you know, but they'd come out and sell stuff. But now we have that, so there's so many different choices, and it brings in maybe people that are not even into metal music, you know, some of the vendors, and they get into it, you know. What's the one food truck that we get out here? The
Tacos La Chulada.
Yeah,
we're gonna have the taco truck back this year, and that, man, oh man, try the quesadilla.
That's one of my favorites.
I mean, it's if you can eat the whole quesadilla, I'd be impressed.
That's gonna be. I'm gonna try.
Humongous.
I'm gonna trying, but yeah, you know, Blue Ocean Delights, they get into it too. They have such a good time, you know, and they're out there pumping their fists and listening to Iron Maiden, you know, blaring from their tent. So. You know, it's always cool to mix the community and still be able to bring in, you know, and then also to give people that maybe don't have like an established business, you know, a chance to come out and vend and sell their crafts, or there's a lot of that too. That'll happen.
You said the word opportunity. It's like this little thing that started in the backyard as just like a heavy metal party with some friends has now turned into this big event where multiple different businesses and people have opportunity to get their stuff out, not just the bands, you know, and the food vendors have an opportunity to get in front of more people, and it's just a great community event, you know, and for the heavy metal community.
And it is, and you know, and for it to be based on heavy music, let alone, you know, to still have something like that, you know, we don't. You know, at one point we had, on a much bigger scale, we had the Carolina Rebellion Festival, and we had Epicenter or whatever, and you don't have that no more, which there's a little bit of a hole from that, I think. But to have just something that's heavy music related, you know, people can come out, you know, it's not the Gastonia Jazz Festival, you know, no offense, you know, but I'll pass on that one. You know, but a heavy music festival, people come out, they discover new bands, there's some that meet friends, maybe they, you know, potential lovers, you know, you never know what will happen.
Potential new bands, artists talk to each other, you know, other artists come to these things, or guys looking for a band come and meet somebody in the crowd, and next thing you know, a new band started because they met at the Headbangers Ball.
Well, that, you know, so there's they're not playing this year, but Annabelle Lee, and they're now Driven by Extinction is their new name, but that's kind of how it happened with them. They had played, I think, maybe the first year, and I could be wrong on this story, but I believe Jeremiah, who sings for them now, came out to a few of those headbangers, saw them, talked with the guys, and the next thing you know, he's singing with them screaming with them for the last 5 or 6 years now. So, you never know really what it will lead into, and we've had bands, that play their very first show. We got one coming up on the lineup, and I'm gonna mess their name up.
Great segue, AJ. Thank you so much. 'Cause I've been waiting to pull this out. Actually, I'm going to have Ron put this up on the screen as we talk about it, at least for a few seconds so people can read it. But here is the schedule of all the bands. So we're going to start at the beginning. We'll go through, and if it's okay with you, we're going to talk about each band and like kind of what their sound is and how they're involved.
That's fine.
So just so you know, Headbangers Ball is this Saturday, October 19th. We pulled it back a week because we didn't want you to miss Hatebreed on the 26th.
Yes.
We knew Hatebreed was coming on the 26th, and we're like, let's not compete with that.
Yeah.
So we're doing it on the 19th. We're still going to run the costume party. It's still going to be a big Halloween party. And the doors open at 1 p.m. And we're going to have music starting at 2 and running all the way up to the end of the night. It will be about 11, maybe 11:30, something like that. And we'll have the flatbed out back for earlier in the day so that we'll have music inside, outside, alternating so that there's music nonstop. And then as we get later into the evening, the last 3 bands will play inside. And let's start with the 2 o'clock slot, which will be indoors, a band called Mass Critique. Now, this will be my first time seeing these guys. I'm actually not very familiar with Mass Critique, so can you talk about those guys?
So they're very fairly new band. I know what I can tell you off them that I know Emily, the bass player, so she's also in Venus Invictus.
Venus Invictus, yeah.
And what's the Red Hot Chili Peppers tribute?
Not anymore. She's not in that anymore.
Okay,
she's
sorry.
in a project called,
sorry, Emily.
She's in a
My
project
bad.
called Shelf Life that was here last weekend.
Okay.
And that's more indie rock. And then she's in Venus Invictus, with his progressive metal.
So this one I guess would say somewhere within the hardcore, post-hardcore.
Okay.
I'm always weird about saying the genres because then you get someone to be like, "That's not hardcore.
That's not black
I can't
metal.
be
That's
hardcore."
death metal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So somewhere in, I would say you could probably put them in the indie category-ish, but yeah, they fall in that post-hardcore, hardcore.
So Mass
category, I'd
Critique,
say, to be
newer
fair.
band starting out. They'll be
Great.
opening the show at
Great.
2 inside. And as soon as their set's over, you'll be able to walk out to the lot out back. And the second band is Do Us Part.
Do Us Part. So that would be, let's say, also hardcore again. I'm excited. It's a band I haven't seen yet. Talked to some of the guys. They're very nice. They're very cool dudes. I believe it might be the first time here.
They were supposed to be on the show, and then that show got moved around, or they came off. They were on a bill for a show we had back a few months ago, but for whatever, I don't even remember the reason they weren't able to make the show. So,
yeah, they actually have a new album coming out. By the time this podcast is seen, it would have been a couple days, so people may miss it. But yeah, they have a new album out, and I'm always excited to see bands I haven't seen, which is a rarity these days. But super hype, nice guys from South Carolina, and I know they stay in good company with the guys in Redefine and all that and stuff like that. I've heard good things, about these dudes, so I'm excited for it.
So talking about bands we haven't seen before, the next band is another brand new heavy band called Vehement. And shout out to my boy Nate, who's also in Fear Illusion. This will be Vehement's first show. These kids, that whole group out there, the Fear Illusion, the Seamless Vision, now Vehement, these guys are all kind of intertwined and in each other's bands, and it's like this whole group of Shelby hardcore.
They're all great bands too. Seamless Vision played last year. Fear Illusion played the year before that.
Yeah.
So now to have you said Vehement.
Vehement.
Sorry guys, I knew I was gonna mess that up. It was the first time ever saying it.
Trying
out
to bail
loud.
you out.
Yeah, but they. I'm excited to see that. They're super nice kids, and
These are kids that love heavy metal so much they can't stop starting new bands.
And it's such a good thing. It's such a good thing too because it makes the community that much fuller, and they're excited, you know.
Yeah.
There's
They're bringing that new energy, that young, new energy to the table.
the energy that us mid-30s people don't have anymore.
I'm mid-40s, bro.
Okay, well, I was trying to help you out there too.
Yeah, I can I can jump into mosh pit for one song. That's it. That's all I got now.
Yeah.
So they'll be inside, and then you'll be able to go back outside for Divinicide. Now, these guys are heavy. They were here about a month or so ago. It was my first time seeing them, and I was impressed.
So good, so good. And they actually came out with a new song yesterday called "Man's Gotta Eat." You can check it out on Spotify. But played it. We did a show earlier with this year, and I was just blown away. I believe it, like Rowan County's heaviest band. It's Divinicide. So. Super sick band. I'm doing a few more shows coming up with them as well, and I'm excited for people to see that. I think people were really super tight, just great musicians.
And that'll be outside again. And again, you can see I'll have Ron put the graphic up one more time right here while we go into the next one. Those guys will be outside, and you'll come back in, and then. It's the Mishaps again. So then you'll get to see AJ as Danzig.
Mother.
Yeah, and Mishaps is always fun. This was something you just put together just to have some fun with.
It was a surprise last year. Like it was potentially just to be that. We were just going to do the one thing,
but it went so well and it sounded so good that this will be your third time here.
Yeah. So we did the solo show in June, and then we did the Save the Rooster, and this will be our third time back. So we're always excited to come back, and it's still fair. I mean, you at a year old, it's very new. Like we're still getting to know each other's people. Let alone,
it's just cool that it started as like a one-off thing, but it went so well that now like it's been multiple shows and it's fun.
It is.
Love some old school Misfits, Danzig music.
That one thing that sticks in my head is last time we were out here, we were playing the Save the Rooster show, and guy comes up, he's like, "Yeah, it's amazing." He's like, "Man," he's like, "forgetting the lyrics and the words." He's like, "That's so punk rock." Just want to tell him it's because we hadn't rehearsed in 3 months, but like that's what that was. But but the reception's great, and the energy we get from people, and so we're like, maybe we have fun doing it, and it's always just one of those things that we don't take ourselves super serious. It's at the end of the day, it's a fun thing. We get to dress up. I get to be Danzig for 45 minutes or whatever. So what?
And that'll be inside, and then. After you guys are done, it'll be back outside, and we're into the 5 o'clock hour now at 5:20. Fault Reset will be the next band outside. That's another band that has recently been here, was very impressive, and I'm happy to have them back.
Yes.
Very, very heavy.
Another band that I've didn't really know those guys until this year, and I think they've been on about 3 or 4 different shows this year with me too. I think they played one in July here. We did, and super heavy band. They're just starting out. I think they've been out for about a year or two now, but really great band. Really sight. I don't know. Like I hate to genreify them, but deathcore, technical.
Yeah, I mean they're
deathcore,
heavy,
but just heavy. Yeah, we'll just say heavy to make it easier,
And then when they're done, right at 6 o'clock, you come back inside, and these guys were on the podcast a week or so ago, Midnight Massacre. Now, we love these guys. We had Steven and Joe on last week, and we talked a little bit about their process, how I would call these guys theatric horror metal.
I would say so. I would say, and I guess if you do dig stuff like Misfits, Danzig, or even Motley Crue, it's somewhere in there.
That's a great comparison you made there, because they do have like those punk rock roots, but
like they'll play Ramones, but you hear a little bit of the Motley Crue, the hair metal ish, but they don't look hair metal, and they have their own style, and
each guy each member of the band is a character they're playing on stage. They all have their own name. We talked about that in that previous episode, and their whole show is all about like entertaining the crowd. Like It's almost, and we talked about this with them as well. It's almost like the interaction and the showman part of the show is just as important to them as the music itself.
It is, and it's something they've been doing really great for. It took for a long time to get them on the show. There's 5 years or so before that I was able to do that. Because I met them when they were like young kids and their hair was shorter, and some of them had hair still, but just great guys, super nice guys out of say the Greensboro-ish area,
Virginia. They're a couple hours away. They're kind of right at that Virginia, North Carolina line, Mount Airy, Galax area.
Okay.
And one of the things I love most about these guys these are the type of guys that will show up to your show.
Yeah, they'll come hang out.
If they're not playing, they're coming to a show to support another local band. And that's actually how we got them on the podcast. We had another guest booked, but they got rocked by the hurricane and was unable to make it. And Steven reached out to let me know that they were coming down for that night's show. And I was like, hey, get here early. Let's do the podcast. And we made it happen. So I was really happy to get them on. Again, it just goes to show how supportive those guys are of the scene. So definitely be here at 6 o'clock to see Midnight Massacre.
That's it. And I mean, I'd also say too, check out that episode. It was a good interview and podcast that they had a few weeks ago there.
Yeah,
and so,
they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great guys.
And so after those guys wear you out, you walk back outside at 6:40 to see Wither the Fallacy. And I got to shout these guys out. This was a last-minute ad. So these guys jumped on this show just in the last few days because another band was unable to make it. So you replaced them literally within hours with these guys. You talk for a minute about Wither the Fallacy and how cool these guys are.
They are, so this will actually be my first time seeing them. But I've seen the name. They played with multiple friends of mine. I want to say they're at like Rockingham, which you don't get a lot of things from that area, down that far, but super heavy. It's very technical, deathcore metal, death metal, whatever, I'm stoked about it, I feel like they've been having a really good year, and I think that for them to step up to, and it wasn't like, sometimes it's like, well, we'll get back to you. Let me talk to the guys. It was very quick. It was very like, hey, we'll take the spot.
Yeah, a chance to play the Headbangers Ball. Let me jump on. They weren't dicking around.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, they may have been something I had originally, like, picked out for the lineup when I was going through bands, and something, maybe they had something else, too, or there was another show that in a week or so that's gotten canceled, but so it worked out to get them, because it's something that I had been trying to get them on shows probably for a good bit this year,
Yeah, so shout out to those guys for jumping on. I appreciate that. And it's cool that Wither the Fallacy has WTF.
What the fuck?
For those who are acronym inclined.
And
after that, come back inside at 7:30 for Fury 58. Now, these guys are no stranger to the Rooster. It's no secret, we love Fury 58. Another band that's all about the show. They put on a killer stage show.
One band that I know, and not just that I'm really great friends with, I was talking to Austin last night about Terrifier 3, but every show, every set they do is different. They're different, whether they learn different covers, or they got different original songs that they have in there. It's never the same show. And
they were also on the podcast a while back. I want to say maybe a couple months. It was before the Trickster show, so whenever that was.
Okay.
They were on the podcast. So if you want to know more about those guys, you can go back and watch the episode or listen. But young, very talented, great energy, great stage presence. Fury 58 is a lot of fun. If you had to genre-fy them, I would say they're like a cross between Avenged Sevenfold and Motley Crue. That's kind of, they're somewhere in between those two guys, those two bands.
I'd say that, yeah, definitely so. And just killer. I mean, a band I like, there's some of their influences, similar stuff that I like as well, but yeah, just very exciting. There's a lot of excitement there, so if you like
they're
that.
One of the bands that has like major potential to like go big.
That's it. And sometimes you'll have rock bands, but these guys rock.
Yeah.
Like there's just a certain element to it, a tempo that just really kicks ass.
Yeah, it's hard not to have a good time when those guys are on stage. You know, you got to be trying not to have fun to not enjoy their set. And then rounding out, headlining the outdoor stage, if we're going to call it that, is a band I'm very excited that they are this far down on the bill. They've been here before for a fest and played early in the day, so not a lot of people got to see how good these guys are. And I was so impressed with this band. I'm so happy they're at the 810 spot, and they're closing out outside. It's Bunker Hill Bloodbath. Heavy, fucking awesome. They look good on stage. You know, talk about how these guys got involved with you.
So they.
I love the name too, by the way.
It is, I think I actually kind of became online friends with some of the members first, seeing it, but persistence is really, because like I see a lot of stuff and then people send me stuff, but and they're just cool guys, really nice guys too, but and this will be my first show that I've got to do with them since January of this year. And they played all over since then, and they played last year's Headbangers Ball, like you said, at a lower thing. And it's very super technical. These guys are like writing machines. They got, to where certain bands will release EPs every year or 2 years or album every 3, whatever. But these guys got a couple singles coming out every couple months, so they keep it very fresh. It's not. They don't just sit on the old songs and then just play that, like, and very just technical and
yeah, they got a little like a grooviness to them that's a little bit reminiscent of Pantera.
They definitely do, and like the attack's it's a very hardcore stylish thing mixed in there, deathcore. It's one of those I couldn't quite I don't want to put a label on it because it's very heavy, and I'm excited for people to, hopefully get to see them. And
yeah, I'm excited for them to get a big audience at this one.
I think they deserve it.
I think a lot of people are going to walk away from this year's Headbangers Ball being like, "Did you see Bunker Hill Bloodbath?" Like I can already see people are going to be like, "Wow, that was fucking awesome." So we're looking forward to that. And then, so that's going to close out. That's going to be the headliner for outdoor. Then we've got 3 more bands inside to close out the night. And the first of those at 8:50 is Strike the Tower. Good friends of ours, good friends of yours. Another band that's been on the podcast before. Great heavy band. They're actually might be the least heavy band of this lineup, but it's still really, really good hard rock.
It is, and that's, the great musicians, and, it's something that it's a very universal and just cool guys too, really nice guys, I'm never not excited to have them. They played, I guess, one of the Headbangers Balls a couple years ago, the first one we did here, and I'd see those guys at shows. Once again, there's certain musicians that come out to shows. You'll see those guys at
you'll see Townsend at local shows all the time.
Yeah,
and just again, like you said, great guys. They've had a big year. They had that big huge premiere of their music video, and at that theater up in Charlotte. They went really well. Like they've had a lot going on. So this is a great way for them to kind of slide into the end of the year, being on the bill for Headbangers Ball, and then when they're done, there'll be a small break to switch over equipment, and then a band that I'm really excited to see, I've never seen before, Black Hole.
Yes.
These guys are more like doom, stoner, sludge, kind of screamy. Like it's really kind of hard to put a label on it.
Yeah, because you look at them and you just want to, most people would just say they're black metal, but there's so much more to it than that.
Honestly, it's more like doom, like stoner, like than it is black metal. But they do the whole face paint thing. Like another band that's all about stage presence. It's going to be a really fun show. Chris from Lanaday.
Yep. Joey Park, Lanaday.
Let's say Lanaday 6 times. So
they're playing here November 2nd.
Yeah, they'll be here a couple weeks after.
And they were on last year's Headbangers Ball, and I forgot to mention them. But and Chris, like with some of his past groups, he used to have a group called Kairos, but it was kind of like a similar version to that, similar version, but with 20-minute songs, and each project he's ever been a part of, I've always just been a fan of, and still a relatively young guy to be in the scene as long as he has. I think he started out when he's 14. He's 28 now.
Yeah,
he's like a veteran, and he's 8 years younger than me.
He's one of those guys that
longer.
just kind of oozes creativity, man. Like that. He's like, there's just certain people you meet in the scene where like they just can't stop writing, they can't stop creating. And Chris and Joey too, as a matter of fact.
Both of them.
Joey just never stops writing. He's not in this band; he's in Atlanta Day, but it's gonna be. I can't wait to see like this side of Chris and what he does. And
it's such a cool stage look. Like the costumes, everything's very very, very solid. So like it's almost one of those things that it could fit in with any type of, it's very...
Put them on multiple different metal
genre bills, and it works, It's definitely something that I think people, and if they even, if people are fans of Atlanta Day, I think they'll still get something out of this that they'll be like, I think they'll really dig this as well, me, it's more up my alley because of that, it's just heavier and darker, and, that's the good shit, for me, at least, but, yeah, I'm excited about that, and it's one band I've wanted to get on Headbangers Ball for the last couple of years, It's it's very fits the vibe of the Halloween costume party thing, So yeah, I'm stoked. I'm stoked for people to see them. I'm stoked to see them.
Yeah, me too. And then that's going to lead us up to the headliner of the whole shebang. We're going to close the night out with our good friends. Detest the Throne.
Yes.
Yeah, John, don't fuck this up.
Yeah, if you're watching, buddy.
John and Ramon, man, they're the homies. That's another band that comes out and supports other bands. We see John in here all the time, coming to support other metal shows. Ramon
is that my show? Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Ramon comes in and supports shows. Ramon and his old lady likes to come to like the burlesque and the other types of shows we do, and like they're real supportive of the scene and the community and of us. And I'm so happy that Detest the Throne is getting an opportunity to headline the Headbangers Ball and get a huge audience in front of them. This is going to be sick.
And it would be, and I think it's great, and they played a couple years back as well. But the thing is that, and I remember from like the inception of their band, starting out when they're just the same guys saying, "Hey, if you have any shows coming up, we're just trying to play whatever we can." And they've had a good year. There was a sold-out show here with Convictions and Confessions of a Traitor they played on. They did a tour of, upper United States into Canada. They opened for Born of Osiris just last Monday or something like that. So I'm super stoked for it, and I mean that, and they're very local to this area,
Yeah, I mean, these guys are from Gastonia. So we have an actual Gastonia-based metal band headlining the Headbangers Ball here in Gastonia, and that's exciting.
Yeah, it makes sense, and I think it's one of those things, I mean, because, Gastonia, this area has a very rich metal scene, like Shelby, Gastonia, Mount Holly, I guess, but I'm stoked for them to get to play, and, I think that there's, I think they deserve, they're at that place now. They've been working hard for the last couple of years, and,
they've earned the spot.
I think so.
Yeah.
I believe that's fair to say, I mean, not to say that any of those bands could be potentially headliners or anything,
well,
one day.
This is their time.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
I think it's their time to shine.
Ron, if you'll put the schedule up one more time on the screen for us so everyone can see, you check out these set times. If there's, if you can't be here for the whole day, but there's a band you want to see, make sure you get here to support that band and show some love, or get here early, stay all day. We'll have food here. Please don't shit in the floor. I'm going to always,
no shits.
I'm never going to forget
shits on the floor this year.
Never going to forget that.
Oh, no.
Our first weekend open. But man, this is going to be a killer show. I'm very, very excited. And again, I'm so grateful to you for allowing us to host this again.
Yeah, it's always like, it's weird too with these things, because I always get like, I don't say bent out of shape or whatever, but there is the nerve factor that comes in, and the things of people going to show up? Who's going to be there? What if this goes? And then about the week of, that kind of just turns into excitement. The promoter side of my brain goes away, and it's just like, the metal kid comes out, and I'm like, it's gonna be fucking fun, and it's gonna be.
And we'll see. And what's cool about this type of shows, we're gonna see people from all over the Southeast. We're gonna see people from Virginia, from Georgia, all over South Carolina, all over North Carolina. If Tennessee people can get here, but it's an opportunity to meet people that are, in the greater metal community in the Southeast.
It is, it's always been. I think my one goal with this is to. I'm not saying it'll always stay this way, but as of 6 years of it, is to keep it a community-based thing and to keep. Not to say that I couldn't bring headliners of different bands from different states, and that could happen one day.
Well, here, let's play devil's advocate. AJ, why don't you bring in a national headliner?
Well, just it would just purely be for fans, people that maybe people that wouldn't come out. That would be that's about the only thing that would really.
Well, it is the Carolina Headbangers Ball.
I think so.
So making it Carolina-based bands is kind of the thing, and we could go out there and get some big national headliner, but. That kind of takes away from what we're doing.
Well, that is too, and so it's like I could, because they say these people come out for this band, this just whatever, but this national band, and they come out just for that, and that's all they want to see, and they get here at 9:00 at night, see the two bands before them, and then go to see that. I want to keep it to where okay, there's certain times and certain levels of whatever, how the lineup's laid out, but essentially, I want people to be able to appreciate all the bands. I don't want anything to
One of the most annoying phone calls we get here, and I answer it the same every time. People will call a club and they'll say, "What time does such and such band go on?" And my answer is, the show starts at 7 or the show starts at 8.
Yeah.
Because that's bullshit. Either get out here and support the bands or don't fucking come.
Some of the best bands I've ever seen are the guys opening for the other band. That's how I discovered. That's how you discovered bands. I would encourage people to get a good night's rest and then get out here at 1 or 2 o'clock, catch it all. You got to take a little nap in your car or something. That's fine, but come out, see everything, because I don't think there's a certain band on here that really initially outweighs anything. I think they're all everything I choose or. People, some of it's personality, but a lot of it's because I like their music. If I can't believe in it, then how am I going to expect others to come out and enjoy it? It has to be something that I also too enjoy, and certain bands on here that I see stuff in and certain potentials, and just this is cool, and I want to turn people onto it. So there's a lot of that. So I would encourage anyone who's thinking I don't know any of those bands. I'd say come out here. I guarantee you'll walk away with at least 3 or 4.
If you're a fan of heavy metal,
a couple that you'll like.
If you're a fan of heavy metal, get out here and support this show and see these bands. A point that I drive it pounding the table since before we opened is there's so much talent in this area. Some of these bands are better than your favorite band.
That's very true. Only thing that sets, everyone's got to start somewhere. Lamb of God started somewhere, and they probably played in a little club. Pantera started in a 200 person, 100 person, maybe even a bar, and so you got to start somewhere, and it really is the fan support that makes the difference, But I'll be honest, there's a lot of stuff that just. Sometimes it's timing, sometimes it's being in the right place or knowing the right people to get to a certain level. But I think that if people would check out, sometimes what's in their backyard, they don't have to spend $40, $50 to go to, $15 parking.
Yeah, we buried the lead, didn't we? It's only $20 to buy a ticket in advance and $25 at the door. We completely should have mentioned that earlier. That is.
And this year too, if because of what's going on in Western North Carolina, you bring canned food, supplies, anything, you can get $5 off at the door.
So you can still get 20 at the door by bringing a donation of personal hygiene items, canned or boxed food, and water, bottled water.
Yeah, yeah.
Those three things. If you can bring those to donate, you'll get the $20 at the door instead of the $25. And also, we have $3 Fireball and Jaeger shots all day Saturday.
Yeah.
We have $4 Cavendish cans. Cavendish is the local brewery that's right down the street from us. We partner with them all the time for events, and we promote their business and sell their beer. We only have Cavendish beer on tap, but their canned beers will be $4 all day. And then we've got a couple of cocktails. We got the Pink Starburst, and we got the Sour Patch Kids are both $5 that day. So we've got great drink specials throughout the day as well.
And you can't, and a little side note about that too is like, you go out to the Luke Bryan show here in a week or whatever and get, it might have a good time, but those $15 beers that hurt your wallet a lot more,
Yeah.
So here at least you get your value, you can you have a good time drinking.
You can spend the
affordable
entire
time,
day here.
And it's good beer.
Yeah, it is good beer.
You don't have to go pay $15 for like the beer you can go buy at Food Lion or Walmart.
Yeah.
You can legit spend 10 hours here this Saturday and spend less than $100.
And that's it. And we encourage people too, like if you do come out all day, like, once you got that wristband or whatever, you can leave, come back, if you got to go if it's too hot or something, go sit in your car, get some AC or whatever. But you can, but we have, it is that. It's a very relaxed vibe as well too, it's not in a backyard anymore, but, bring some chairs, you can sit out there, watch some bands, we have the indoor-outdoor thing, so
Yeah, we're going to clear out the inside of the club. We're going to get rid of a couple of tables to make more room since we'll have more people. So if you need to bring a lawn chair to set up outside, that's okay. Just do not even think about bringing alcohol in this club.
Leave it. You got to leave your own shit.
For those and for those who think I'm being a dick, it's a legal thing. I can lose my liquor license if you bring liquor or beer that didn't come from my bar onto these premises. I can lose my liquor license. And when we do big events like this, that's when they send their fucking spies and lackeys out to monitor this stuff. Don't go to your car and drink, because if we catch you, you're gone for the day. None of that. Don't be that guy.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be an asshole. But
and that's the reason
we've had some incidents lately that have forced me to kind of start forcing this a little harder. So that's where we're at.
and it's something that has to happen. But that's why we keep the ticket prices as low as they are. Just so.
And furthermore,
that,
if you get fucking pregame too hard and you show up to this bar drunk, Melissa will cut your ass off and send you packing. She does not fuck around, man.
Yeah, she might start fighting.
Yeah.
She might put you in a headlock. But shout out Melissa. Yeah. But like I said, I feel like it's going to be a really great time, and it's a lot of family. It feels like family these days, And I tell people, come out if you. I don't know anyone. I don't know the bands. You can come out and you can be a wallflower if you want, but there's so many great people, and they'll probably introduce themselves to you in some way or something, and it's just that same crowd, I've been glad to have those same, the Tims and the Scott Callahans and the over the years that it's always a good vibe, we don't ever have, there's not people out here. Some concerts you get dickheads or whatever. I guess to use that like lightly, but the crowd's good. The metal crowd, it's a very loving community. As far I think we get a bad rap as like this. They look at the music, they're like, they're satanic and anti-Christian or blah blah blah.
We're not all satanic.
No. And
it is a family vibe. The metal community is the most supportive, most
it's all
loving
ages
and caring.
too, as well. So you bring the kiddos. You don't have to hire the babysitter. Watch the kiddos, but bring them.
Yeah, 10 and under get in free. If they're over 10, there's a cover. But 10 and under, you're welcome to bring them. And again, bring those chairs, and and we'll have plenty of refreshments. There's food, everything. AJ, anything else you want to say about the show before we wrap up?
I'm thinking hard on it. This one, I think we've covered most of the bases. I know there's still time to get pre-sale tickets online.
If you go to our website, theroostergastonia.com, go to our events tab, you'll see the Carolina Headbangers Ball. It'll take you to our ticketing site. You get those pre-sale tickets and save a few bucks. Really easy. You can find it. The ticket link is also in the event page on your Facebook.
Yeah.
You're going to be seeing a lot of promo leading up to the show, all the bands. We're going to be all in your feed, so it won't be that hard to find.
Yeah, my friends on Facebook are going to hate me for the next week, but it is what it is. Well, that, and, we also, like I said we encourage people to come dressed up as well,
Yes.
like have fun with it, it's something that you can't do at those big venues. You can't wear that costume to the Fillmore. You can't, they won't allow it. So here you can come dress up, have, whatever you want, but we'll have contests going as well. We'll probably do for first place, we'll probably be like some kind of yearly tickets to a show for a year type thing or something, and then the second one would be like a band merch thing. We've always
And
end up having
we'll even throw in a 4-pack of tickets for an upcoming show. We'll make it so that multiple people can win prizes. We may even do a kids contest and a grown-ups contest, so that
and I think last year we had like 4 or 5 different prizes to where like a lot of people didn't walk away empty-handed, at least the ones that so we didn't have to worry about like, well, this one was really really good, but this one's slightly better. There's none of that, so make sure if you wear, you got a good costume, that you got probably a good chance of, of winning something or going home with something, some kind of band merch, something fun,
All right. Thank you for doing this, AJ. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Carolina Headbangers Ball this Saturday, October 19th.
Yeah.
1 o'clock doors, 2 o'clock show. And go to the website for any more details. Appreciate you very much. Look forward to many, many more of these. Peace and love.